Hey everybody, this is your GM Kill, your bag road dominus here to give you episode 3 of the Stack and Shed series. Now in this series, we're going to do a deep dive on all 32 teams. What are their problems? What needs to be fixed? What can be fixed? And how can they fix? Okay, now we're going to cover a few different topics. And those topics include what went wrong, what do they need, stack or shed, draft picks, one move I would do, and their cap space. Now, in this episode, we're going to cover the Giants. Yes, I know everybody's been talking about the Giants and where they're going to go from here now that they've hired John Harbaugh and whatnot. So we're going to do a deep dive with them. So buckle up. It's going to get crazy. All right, let's get into it. So what went wrong in the Giants season? And I would venture to say it was more lows than highs. And the reason why I say that is because we knew that coming into this season, both Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen were on the hot seat. And we knew that this team had to take a step forward in the right direction in order for them to keep their jobs. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Now, we can play the blame game all day, but the fact of the matter is everybody needed to play better. There wasn't just one person that is excluded from criticism. Everyone deserves it to some degree. And it doesn't help when you blow leads as well. Here's just some of the notable ones just to refresh your memory, okay? Week 2 against the Cowboys. You had a 10-point lead against them and you lost. Week 5 against the Saints. You had an 11-point lead and you lost again. Week 7 against the Broncos, you had a 19-point lead and you lost. Week 9 against the 49ers, you had a 7-point lead and you lost. Week 10 against the Bears, you had a 10-point lead and you lost. Week 11, you had a 7-point lead against the Packers and you lost. Week 12 against the Lions, you had a 10-point lead and you lost. And you have nobody to blame but yourself. Even the quarterback play was inconsistent. In the 6 games that Russell Wilson started, he was 119 attempts for 69 completions, 831 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 7 yards per attempt, and a 58 completion percentage. In the 3 games that Jameis Winston started, he was 66 attempts for 37 completions, 567 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 8.6 yards per attempt, and a 56.1 completion percentage. In the 13 games that Jackson Dart started, he was 339 attempts for 216 completions, 2,272 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 6.7 yards per attempt, and a 63.7 completion percentage. Now, out of those 3, Jackson Dart played his best with less. Russell Wilson can't say that, nor Jameis Winston. Defensively, they were night and day. There'll be 1 or 2 games where they're playing their best ball and they're really getting after the quarterback and they're making big plays. And then there's 3 to 5 games where they're doing the opposite. And mind you, this is a defense that has Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Javon Holland. Understand this, my fellow football junkies. This is a production-based business. And when you're not producing, they're going to let you go. Case in point, that's why the Giants fired their defensive coordinator. Because you know why? The defense wasn't playing well. They were 28th in the league, and they allowed 25.8 points per game, 359.5 yards per game, 5.8 yards per play, and 46 touchdowns. They were 16th in pass defense, and they allowed 214.2 passing yards per game, 6.2 passing yards per play, and 25 passing touchdowns. They were 31st in run defense, and they allowed 145.3 rushing yards per game, 5.3 rushing yards per play, and 21 rushing touchdowns. Now, I understand that Brian Burns had a really good year, but he's only one person. Dexter Lawrence didn't do anything this season. 31 tackles and a half a sack. Kayvon Thibodeau, he could have done more. 25 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Abdul Carter, 43 tackles and 4 sacks. Unacceptable, especially for somebody that wanted LT's number. Now, with that being said, what do the Giants need? And that is a veteran head coach and better drafting. Now, let's be honest here, and I know this might be a hot take. I believe that John Harbaugh is the best coach the Giants have had since Tom Coughlin. And the reason why I say that is because John Harbaugh is going to bring 2 things to the Giants organization that they've been longing for a very long time. Stability and consistency. You always know what you're going to get with John Harbaugh. You can't say that about Brian Daboll, Pat Shurmur, or Joe Judge. Now, I understand that John Harbaugh's playoff success really hasn't been the best, and I understand he's choked some games, and the quarterback has been playing his best, and some people have fumbled the ball. All these myriad of different things, right? But the fact of the matter is this. He's going to elevate the team to some degree. Now, am I saying is he on the tier of an Andy Reid or a Sean McVay or a Dan Campbell or a Kyle Shanahan or a Mike McDonald? No, but he's the second closest thing to him. Most likely this team will probably be a 9 to maybe 10 win team in a couple of years. Now, when it comes to the drafting part, that goes to the GM, okay? Stop trying to get these big name defensive playmakers. It's time for you to start investing into the offense. The only way that you can truly see what you have in your quarterback is if you give them adequate weapons. And I'm not just saying you just give them a bunch of wide receivers like how the Bengals do, but you give him a good offensive line. You give him a good run game. You give him a reliable tight end. You give him maybe 2 or 3 other receivers that, that he can rely on as well. If you do all of those things and you still don't see the potential that you thought you were going to get with him, well, then that means you just have to get another quarterback. But if he exceeds all expectations that you have for him, well, then guess what? You got your guy. Now, with that being said, the question we all need to ask ourselves is stack or shed? And I would venture to say stack. And the reason why I say that is because you have some pieces on this team. All you have to do is just build off of it and be consistent in your drafting. If you have 2 or 3 really good drafts, that's going to speed up the process of making this team competitive. But if you continue to make boneheaded moves in free agency and in the draft, well, then guess what? It's going to push the process back. Now, when we look at their draft picks, they have their first, their second, their fourth, their fifth, and 3 6-round picks. Now, if I'm Joe Schoen, I'm entertaining calls for the 5th pick. And the reason why I say that is because if you move down just 2 or 3 spaces, you're still in a really good spot. And you're getting a lot of picks in return. So if you wanted to, you could manipulate the draft in such a way that it favors you. Because let's be honest here, it's a defensive draft class. Are all of those pass rushers and defensive linemen going to be drafted in the first round? No. Are all those wide receivers and offensive linemen going to be drafted in the first round? No. So if I'm the Giants, trade down a little bit, see how the board falls. If you like it, make your pick. If you don't like it, just stay put. Now, the one move that I would do if I was the GM for the Giants is draft a wide receiver. And the reason why I say that is because we don't know when Malik Neighbors is coming back. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be a free agent. Are you going to pay 25, maybe 28 million a year just to keep him? No. So if I'm the Giants, draft at least 2 wide receivers. You can get one in the first and maybe even in the 4th round. Because let's be honest here, you have Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Georgia and Bama. You have the wide receiver from Louisville. You have Casey Concepcion. You have a plethora of different wide receivers and different archetypes that you can choose from. The defense is fine. You can address that at the later part of the draft. What you need to do within the first 3 rounds is get you some offensive playmakers. If you don't do that, you're doing a disservice to Jackson Dart. Now, when we look at their cap space, they only have $11.9 million right now, but they can create cap space if they just move some money around. That's not really a problem. It's never a problem for any team. I mean, look at the Saints. Every single year, they're in the red. And for some apparent reason, they're able to get in cap compliance when they need to. I don't know how they do it. I wish I would talk to their cap guys just so they can show me how to move money around. But hey, this isn't a podcast about financial stuff, okay? But I'm going to end this episode here. If you guys like what you are listening, please make sure you guys leave a 5-star review on anywhere and everywhere that you can listen to podcasts, okay? We're available on Apple, Spotify, and a few other places. Now, if you want to access those other places, go on Google, type in Football Junkies Podcast. It should be the first link, okay? It'll be a RSS.com link. When you click on that link, there'll be another button that says listen to. And when you click on that, it'll give you a plethora of different options that you can listen to this podcast on, okay? Now, for our YouTube people, like, share, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let's talk about it, okay? Now, you can follow us on YouTube at Football Junkies Pod, all right? Football Junkies Pod. When you go on our YouTube page, there is a link tree. When you click on that link tree, it'll take you to anywhere and everywhere that we have Football Junkies content, okay? Now, for my TikTok people, Football Junkies Pod. Football Junkies Pod. Now, for my Instagram people, Football_Junkies Pod, okay? Football_Junkies Pod. Junkies Pod is not what? It is together, not spaced. Okay, it is together, not spaced. Football_Junkies pod. You can follow me on Blue Sky at GMKale. GMKAILE. It's the same thing on Twitter. GMKale. GMKAILE. All right. As always, I hope I gave you guys the fix that you guys need. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for listening to episode 3 of the Stack and Shed series. Stay tuned. There's more episodes on the way. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. This is your GM Kale signing out. Peace and love. Later, guys.